Hi YouTube, how's everybody? I'm doing pretty good. You might hear a little bit of noise. I'm finishing up a load of laundry. I thought I'd just get on here and say hello with my same old advice on how to keep your soul safe from the dark force. But a little on that after I'll tell you about my morning. Had a call from my youngest son where he's at. It's snowing and he does road work. So um, he had some time he could call and talk, and it was nice. Um, yeah, it won't be long, and the whole upper north United States is going to be a frozen tundra for sure. But that's what we get for living here. But yeah. Um, So I got that done this morning, talked to him, and cleaned up my kitchen. Was a horrible mess. I had some stuff in the dishwasher from making donuts, but the rest of the mess I had to clean up. And so, uh, anyway, um, it's not going to be too difficult of a supper tonight. I'm just going to make some salmon patties, so um, that'll take care of that, and probably just lettuce and salmon, and so it'll be easy. But yeah, I was thinking about, people that do shameful things, you have to live in shame. That must be horrible. I know I've done some rotten things in my life, and um, I'm glad that I overcame the urges to be able to, guard my soul and my heart, because it's a really big deal, super big deal. People wonder why their lives go wrong when they're on top of the world, but they didn't give their heart wholeheartedly to God, you know. And when they're just kind of so, I mean, they believe in God, but you don't follow what He says exactly. You're like, I'll just leave that little part out. It's not a big deal. Then, when you're in trouble and you want God's mercy, then you remember who He is, you know. Um, but the trick is to know who He is every day. So when you get stuck, you get help automatically. Can you imagine? Just say, for instance, if we were locked up in a prison and all hell broke out on planet Earth, if we were stuck in there and couldn't get out, or if we were stuck in traffic, or stuck out on a boat, or you know what I mean, then we'd be wanting God's mercy. If you're out bobbing around in the middle of the ocean, you would definitely be calling for God's mercy. So the way I look at it is like every day I'm bobbing around out in that ocean, and I know without God's help, I'm not going to escape, you know, because I've learned my lessons. When you do misdeeds, you can't keep doing it and expect different, outcomes. I mean, it is true. I know I'm not telling people something they don't know, but um, it's very, very true. You know, like I say, I know my rotten times, and I put a kibosh on it right away. You have to. When you have the urge to say or do something mean or cruel, or and as an adult, it's intentional. Children don't intentionally. I mean, Satan can guide them easier because they're young, but there's a time when they have to set that aside and say, hey, I know that there's like certain people or certain circumstances in our life that are a bad influence on me. And although I may love that person or admire them for a certain trait, or even a pretense, if they pretend to be sweet, it's like, oh, well, I can admire it. I just wish it was real. then the smile that they're smiling would be shinier and more real, you know. It's like happy, shiny people. I love that song. That's why, because that realness that shines through a real, nice human being, you know. That's golden. So, and then it brings me to these people like I don't know if you're familiar with, and I'm sure some of you are, the AMTV, that, and like Jonathan Klick, and AMTV. This is something, in fact, I might put him on the outside of this video because what a turd. He's like talking about the end of the world or the apocalypse, and he's like, "Goodbye, California, nice knowing ya," and "Goodbye, California," and then "Goodbye, New York, nice knowing ya." He kind of laughs. It's like, what a piece of crap. Professing to be a Christian, but yet laughing about other people's demise, you know? Yeah. And then I'm sure he could say, or somebody would say, but he wasn't talking about the people, just the land. No, there's more people on those two spots of our land than there is anywhere else. So get a grip with your stupidity if you were thinking about saying that to me. So, and this Jonathan Kleck, he thinks he's Jesus Christ, but yet he's laughing about the rapture, you know, the ones that'll be taken up and the other ones that are left, and laughing about it. But yet he proclaims to be a part of Christ. You know, it's like, right. Uh huh. Guy bugs me to the end of the world because, well, see, not only does he resemble my ex, but the attitude is that of the Cain blood. So I can just feel it, you know, with people, you know. And I don't hate my ex, even though I got a lot of reasons to hate, but and I kind of feel sorry for him, not really, but I do know what these people are going to get out of life in the end, and it probably isn't going to be pretty, you know. I'm not sure that they'll die peacefully in their sleep because when they were little, they didn't face their shame, they ran away from it. Instead of telling that naughty little kid, hey, you're going to grow up to be a good, decent human being, they continued to act like a child, continued to ignore the things that they were doing that were wrong, and then they placed themselves, they try to place themselves above other people with their attitude, like, look at me, I'm so glorious, and look at you, you're so below me. um it makes them feel better to try and pretend, and if they can make you feel bad along the way, as bad as they feel, that's that misery loves company thing. They truly do love to make people miserable. That's their ulterior motive. If they can do that, because it really does make them feel better about themselves, about that stupid little child that they never faced, you know. And so they end up looking, and they do look like stupid children to me. Um, Immature, uh, filthy minded, liars. Um, let's see, what else can I put on there? Manipulative, uh, self centered. I could say egotistical there, but I know how low they feel about themselves and the shame that they're actually carrying. So they can pretend to be egotistical, but they're really not really, because you know when you tell an untruth that you carry that around inside yourself, you know. until you face the music and say, hey, this was just bullshit. Um, you'll never be able to feel, or they will never be able to feel good about themselves no matter how they pretend. They just can't. They can feel good about Satan's side of the team as far as saying, look, I got one over on that person. But did they really? Did you really? Because the person that's being lied to, or the people that are being lied to, you're not getting anything over on us. We see you clearly. The fact of the matter is, we just cannot prove you are a liar. But then on the other hand, like filthy posts versus ones that aren't, or video demeaning other people, these things speak for themselves. So the proof is in the pudding. The proof is what they're putting out there as individuals, and expecting everybody else to go along with it like this is the thing to do. No, we're not laughing because we think that our shorelines may have tsunamis or bombs or that type of thing. There's nothing funny in that whatsoever. You know, people will think, oh, geez, we'll laugh if California falls into the sea. But what if it's not? What if it's Ohio? What if the New Madrid fault line blows apart like it did back in 1904? Then you won't be laughing middle America, will you? No matter where you are. The capabilities of God just cracking the earth open like an egg, only the other way around, because that spewing lava seems to defy all gravity, melting everything in its path. Besides that, there's like a conveyor belt of lava around the whole world. You have the crust, and then before the core, you have a complete conveyor belt of ongoing energy being supplied to our earth by that. And that is a deep situation. Yeah, that's gravity for sure. But yeah, there would be a pull with I would call it let me see, what would be the word? I'm thinking of motion, like it would be like genetic, like electronic um force, you know. So anyway, but I don't know who's to actually say, and how could we ever prove what exactly. I mean, they say what they say the middle of the earth is made out of, but do they really know? They can say, and they can use all their tools and everything else. I mean, they lied to us about the moon. They lied to us about this, that, and the next thing. I mean, we all know it, and we all know that there's no tangible proof that anybody's ever been to outer space. How weird is it, too, when you get in an airplane, and I've driven all over the United States and into Mexico and Canada and whatnot, but how weird is it to get into an airplane and say, like, when I went to Texas from Minnesota, and then I'm down in Texas, like, what would be a 3-day drive in just that amount of time. But if I hadn't driven it, I could feasibly think that the distance between here and there wasn't what they said, or the flight path wasn't what they said. Um, who could prove it? I mean, when you're up either 60 or 30,000 feet in the air, depending on the jet stream that they're riding, uh, who could actually prove anything anyway, as far as distances go or time? That gives me another thing. What is time? Time's up for Satan, but what's time actually in this world? Does it really mean anything? I mean, to me, the way all the clocks are changed for time zones and calendars and leap years and all the different calendars, and everybody's meaning this and that, or this zodiac or that zodiac, which, I mean, I believe in zodiac signs up to a point. When it gets into like the Vedic astrology of the Chinese, the ancient um, Far East correlation with Satan back in those days, and then into Indonesia with Shiva and the rest of the Baphomet type part man, part woman thing. That, to me, this is my thoughts. I've always thought this. I'll never think any different, so it doesn't matter. But women are women and men are men, and there is not a unit in between. There are morphodites that are born with both, but they always have one of the stronger parts than the other. And, I've actually never met anybody that was truly a morphodite that had to have part of their sexual organs cut or manipulated in any way unless they wanted to do that. So I have, and even working in hospitals, and I was working in a hospital where it was a smaller one, but babies being born and whatnot. Um, so not only my own children, I've been around newborns, and I've never, and all the time, all the different moms I've known, I have never met anybody or heard of anybody having an actual morphodite. So that must be very rare. And pretending that you're one sex or the other when you're made it a certain way isn't going to make it come true, no matter how hard they want to try. And if you got to take hormones to be somebody or not, well, then you're not going to convince me. Even though you may be somewhat of a wuss, if you're a dude and you're taking hormones to become a woman, you're still a dude with off hormones. That's all that is, you know. If I took hormones and grew a mustache, right, that's not going to make me a man. I'm proud to be a woman. I've done jobs men do and did it just as well or better. So, why change who I am? It's just like these guys that talk like women or giggle like women. Um, just talking like a woman does not make them feminine. It makes them sound way queer. It's pretty awful, you know. Speaking of Jonathan Klick, you know, he's so happy to be the Messiah of Satan, you know. So, yeah, unbelievable, these people. I don't know. But yeah, I just thought I'd share some more of my thoughts on some of the stuff that's going on in our world, because it's not only just crazy, it's sick. If a person lies, and I do dislike, I mean, I hate liars. Still, you must hate yourself, or they must hate themselves even more than I do. How disgusting to not be able to look yourself in the eye and say, hey, I like you because you don't lie. You know, that's an important thing. Really is. Yes, it is. So, but I do get the biggest kick out of somebody saying they're a Christian and then passing around posts and memes that are borderline teenage like, you know, um, giggling at the sexuality of life and stuff or that type of thing. It's like, didn't you like leave that back in elementary school or something like that, you know? Really? You know? Are we adulting out here or babying? You know? Is this child's play? You know? Because in the end, and I am a warrior like that, and I know God probably won't let me physically do anything. But when I see a post like that, I would like to take you over my knee and spank your fucking ass. Just like a big baby. I don't care who you are. When you're acting like a twit, you should get treated like one, you know? Um, and I told this one friend of mine, I told her, I said, you know, I'm not going to shut up. She says, I love you. I said, I love you too. And I do. And you know, I'm not going to shut up ever. You stop and I'll stop, but I won't stop until this crap stops. And that goes for whoever this applies to. You know, I'm serious. Um, I've always been like this. I won't quit, and it'll probably get worse, I would say. You know, but just imagine this though. If you think it's funny to pass around posts, and I can't prove that you're acting evil and it was forethought out to irritate me, just imagine someday that I might drive up to your door and then you're going to have to try and pretend that you're not evil right in front of my face. You can pass around posts that say, you know, some people you just like to slap. And yes, that's funny up to a point. But some people don't slap, you know? And I'm to the point in my life where I may not kill your fucking ass, but you will be sore and wish that you could die. Because I will never let anybody lay another hand on me. If somebody slapped me, I'd break your wrist with one snap. So that's how that goes. So just be careful out there when you think you're threatening and playing with somebody because some people don't play at all, you know, and I'm one of them. So just thought I'd let you know. So you can keep playing. You can even get mad at what I just said. Get mad all you want. But the fact of the matter is who's your mama? No. Have a little respect for yourself, you know? Really. And other people will too. You know, they can laugh at a post that's written for the mind of a third grader, but what are you going to do with a real woman in your face when you're fucking with her? Huh? What? Nothing is what? More your games, but you ain't going to like the outcome. Because I'll tell you what, I saw a post that said meeting me in person is a whole lot different or something like that. You have no idea. Just ask Satan. He can't handle me. And somebody, one of his followers, thinks they can. I ain't even going to tell you good luck with that. That's highly laughable. And really, what you're going to get out of premeditating trying to bother me. So go ahead and think of something for tomorrow. And I hope your friends help you pass lots of Satanistic little posts around because you're just exposing yourself by doing that. That's all it is. So, and then you want to cry to God when you're injured or hurt? Well, now I'll say good luck with that. Because you only get so many chances to screw up in this life till finally you're at the bottom of the barrel and there's nowhere to go. And when you think you're such a lying artist that nobody can prove or pinpoint the scum that you're portraying, that's when you're in the most danger. You really are. Because you're walking a fine line that isn't a fine line at all. Because there is no in between. If you see what I'm saying. So you're picking your side, just even if it doesn't seem like such a big deal. And it's intentional. Like I know it is. And so does everybody else. Um, Shit, I'll be naming some names soon here. It doesn't matter to me, you know. I'm just trying to speak without totally exposing and hurting people. But you are exposing and hurting yourself. In fact, maybe I'll just make another video like I have before. Like, look at this on my Facebook, you know. And the ones from the past, you might want to go back and pull them down because they're there forever, forever and ever, you know. So. And can I get a shout out that it's cancer awareness and they hope they find a cure, which they have, and they're not sharing with the public? Can I get a shout out from the people that have had cancer and don't realize that it was a germ warfare created by our government to take you out and cost people more money for operations? You want to say amen, like I told you means end of man? Would you like to say, I hope I don't get cancer again, amen? Does that sound stupid? I hope I don't get cancer again. End of man. Yikes. Words. Oh, and as far as putting a spell on me, whatever. This is Campo. If anybody knows Last of the Summer Wine. Cool little dude. So it's a British comedy. Kind of a drama comedy. It's funny. Funny old people. I love the harmonica, and it's kind of nice to listen to at night. A good show. Just the music will put you to sleep. So anyway, well, if the shoe doesn't fit, you don't have to wear it. Otherwise, shame on you. You know, and I mean that with all my heart. And I also mean with all my heart, I love you. And I'm talking at this point. But there is going to be a day when God's not going to be talking no more through people or at all. And you don't want him not to talk to you. You don't want, I mean, the thing is, you've pushed yourself away from God so bad that you literally can't hear him talk. And so in the dark, where Satan's shining his little light, you think you have an out and an escape when you're literally going deeper into the dungeon, you know. And you should pull yourself out before you go any deeper. There's always room, there's always time. And as far as I'm concerned, the time is now. Because when God says, okay, all hell's going to break loose, I'm not putting up with people's shit. In fact, I don't anyway. But so that's the way I feel. I'm going to let you go at that. And I do love you very much. I really do. Just quit acting like a baby, for Christ's sake. Makes me sick. I can't stand it. I really can't. If you were a child of mine, you would have probably spent most of your time in your room. Not because I was a bad mom that just put my kids in my room, but if my kids were going to act like stupid little animals, I didn't want them around me. That goes for anybody. I don't care. That's the way I am. So, peace, love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.